Hello and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I'm excited to be cooking for you today a recipe that I think is perfect for Valentine's Day or any day, to be honest. What am I making? Well, I'm going into book 2 and I'm making the Wicked chocolate cake. Oh my gosh, it is the best chocolate cake ever. If you haven't made it, then I'm excited. But also, just to let you know, it's also been done in a smaller version because that serves 12. I've also done it in the more cooking version too. Let me just show you. And it's another way to enjoy this recipe, and you make 6. That's it there. Now with this one, you use this sort of, what's it called? Silicone. The silicone things, because it's going in the microwave. So that's what I used for that recipe. But for this, in the oven, you can also make it as well. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't have a microwave or I don't want to use a microwave, I'm going to tell you in a little while how to make it in the oven as well. All right, so let's look at the ingredients we need for today's show. So we've got Flora-Lite margarine, and I've got 60 grams, yeah, that's 4 tablespoons. I've got 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar. I've got a 1/4 of a cup of cocoa, and I do really like this brand. They don't pay me to tell you this, but it's a beautiful, dark, rich, it's sort of like a Dutch type of cocoa. It says it's a premium one, and it's called Plaisto. So that's just a little tip there. I've also got some self-raising flour, 1/4 cup. I've got 2 egg whites I'll be using. I want a 1/2 teaspoon of bicarb soda, cooking spray. I've also got some baking paper, and we're going to do that to help so it doesn't stick. And I'll show you my technique. I've got icing as well, which we'll do later on, and I've got 1/2 cup of icing sugar, teaspoon of Flora-Lite, 2 teaspoons of cocoa, and because it's Valentine's, I'm going to decorate a little bit. So I've got these little coloured hearts, and I've got some fresh strawberries, and I thought that would be nice to make it a bit more special for my love. Yes. All right, easy recipe, okay? This is the theme for this year: simple, easy, quick. That's what we want. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to check my hot water. I did boil it before we started, and so you don't even have to cream this mixture, you dissolve it. How good is this? And I think it's probably the easiest cake you can make, but it's also the easiest cake to eat. But you know what? Instead of it being like, I don't know, 25, 30 grams of fat for chocolate cake, it's 2.8 grams of fat done this way. And in the little muffin ones, it's a little bit more, it's 3.2 grams. Still very fabulous. Okay, so we measure 3/4 of a cup of boiling water. There we go. And what I tend to do is I put the ingredients in first. So put the margarine in. Get that all out. And the sugar. Then, got a spoon, and you pour the hot water over it and dissolve. Now, it's not a really big cake, but it's definitely one that you'll really enjoy, and I can give you some tips that I've done for special occasions as well. The key with this cake is that it has to be put into a ring tin. So I'm microwaving it in this one. Now this is probably an antique. I've looked after it very well, but there is a little crack there. But if you've got this type of one, well done. But this is the most recent ones you can buy. I got this in Spotlight, and it's got the little bunt, but it's a small one. You know, you can get these, but they're huge. And as I said, this is not a big cake, so you don't want to be making it in the other ones. But even when you do it in the oven, it is still better to have it in a ring tin. And I've got a silver one. Bill, can you find my silver ring tin that I use for when I do it in the oven? Now, I've got to tell you, I actually had some visitors ring me one day and said, oh, we're on our way. And I had nothing, thanks Bill, I had nothing in the cupboard. So I made this, put in the freezer, I was icing it, and it was ready to go before they even walked in the house, and that was under an hour. I know. So there's my ring tin. Now, if you don't have one, check your grandmother's cupboard or your great-grandmother's. They'll have them, and I bet they don't use them anymore. but that's the way you go. It has to have a ring in it. And some microwave dishes you can actually have a little cylinder that you put in loose and it just sits in there. All right, so we've dissolved, that's the hard bit. What we're going to do now is we're going to sift in the icing sugar and the, not icing sugar, I'm sorry, the flour, the cocoa and the bicarb. All right, so just sift that in. And I'm going to use my electric beater here. So no preheating the oven on this recipe because it's done in the microwave, but I will tell you how to do it if you wanted to do it in the conventional oven, okay? Let me move these over there. I'll be using this for the icing, so I'll put that back over here. I'm just tidying up my little kitchen workbench. All right, now, just beat it together. Oh my gosh, it's such a fabulous cake. I use it a lot for parties, for like celebrations. Everybody loves a chocolate cake, let's be honest. And because it's got a hole in the middle, I often will put lollies in the middle of what that person likes. Recently I did one for my friend who was turning 70 and he loves Maltesers. Obviously this is not an ideal weight loss program thing, but there's sometimes when it's okay. And so I put Maltesers in the middle, I iced it, put the Maltesers in and then had it bulging at the top. And when he cut in, they all fell out. I got an ooh and an ah on that one. All right, now let's crack our egg. We only need 2 eggs for this and we're only using the egg whites. So just take the yolk. So by using just the egg whites, I've saved, 12 grams of fat. Now you can buy egg whites in the cartons, and if you do that, it's 36 grams for each egg white. So that'd be 36, 72. Beat that in. And we are looking fantastic. All right, so now all I have to do is I'm going to make a little base to the cake tin so it doesn't stick. So let me move this over here and let me show you how you do it. You turn that over. I've got baking paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half and then half again. And I'm going to look at, see here's the center, so I'm going to do that. So I'm looking here, I'm going to cut the edge. Let's have a look at that, maybe a little bit more. Now I also want to open up the middle, so I'm going to cut that. And this is just for any baking, if you want to be just 100% sure that it's not going to stick, this is what you do. So I'm going to spray, I might go to the sink. Make sure you spray that little knob in the middle. And then the paper needs a bit more bigger hole. There we go. And in it goes, and I'll show you in a sec. There. So you see the base has got a bit of the baking paper on the bottom. Very easy to do for any baking at all. All right, so let's scrape this in. All right, so we'll pour it in around the hole. I mean, how easy is this cake to do, please? Great way to get the kids in the kitchen. Make a chocolate cake if you're visiting Granddad or someone special. Get the kids to make it so they feel a bit fabulous. I say encourage your kids in the kitchen. You know, it's a really good thing for them to learn how to do. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that's all even. In my soapy sink. Now, the key now is to work out the microwave. So if your microwave, actually I'll put it in and I can chat while it's cooking. My microwave, and put it in the centre, put the power to 7 or 70%. Now my microwave's 1100 watt, so I will do it on on the 7, for 4 minutes. If your microwave is 1000 watt, you'll put it in for 5.5 minutes. And if it's even lower than that, then, you know, I think you're probably due for a microwave because that'd be a really old microwave for sure. All right, so now, if I was going to put that in the oven, and it tells you in the cookbook, it says here to make in a conventional oven, follow the recipe, but instead, so do it exactly as I've done, but you will put it into a metal tin. Or you can put these in the oven too, can't you, Bill? Yeah. So, you know, if you've got a ring one like that. Okay, so you bake it at 180 degrees fan force. Have you got your pen and paper out? Okay, so 180 degrees fan force for 30 minutes. Now, I actually do mine for 25. Okay, because I've got a reasonably hot oven. So once you can feel that it's firm, it's good to go. And then you rest it, turn it out onto the wire rack and turn it over and let it cool, and then you ice it. Okay, so that's 180 degrees fan forced and you're good to go. Now the fat count of this recipe is 2.8, and as I said before, in the more cooking, I thought let's do a smaller version, a bit of a fun version, and this is what I did. So they're in, as I showed you earlier on, it's in these little muffin ones. And to do that one, it's the same sort of recipe, but it only makes 6. So it's half the recipe. And you just can also do this in the conventional oven as well, and it tells you all about it in that. But you might want to win this book this week, or you want the book too. You'll have a choice this week, and I'll tell you about that at the end. All right, so now let's look at decorating. I'm gonna get the icing here. I'm going to get that all ready. Let's make the icing because we can, because it's such a quick cake. Now what I'm going to do is when it comes out, I'm going to bung it in the freezer because I'm about quick and easy. I want to get this done. So I'm going to be giving it to Bill to put in the freezer when it's completed. Now you do it for 4 minutes, as I said, or 5.5 if you've got 1000 watt. And then what happens, once that 4 minutes is up, you leave it for 2 more minutes. You know, just leave it in the microwave. I'll do a timer for 2 minutes when it stops. Then it comes out, you tip it out, and then as I said, if you've got time, you can leave it on the bench. I'm going to throw it in the freezer, and so hopefully we can get that iced in really quick. So first of all, as it's Valentine's, I want to decorate a little bit. I've got some of these little heart things in here, which I think will be, I'll pour them out. I've got some strawberries to do, and I'm going to use my little lemon chopping board. And guess what? Someone's going to win that this week as well. I did mention last week, I'm going to be a bit more generous this year because I love you so much. But if you want to win this week, I'll tell you how to do it. You can win either book 2 or more cooking with 2 and a lemon chopping board. I know, that's how I roll. All right, so I'm going to use the smaller strawberries. Now, when you're doing strawberries, what's going on? Most of them you get 3 in the punnet because they're so big. It's ridiculous. But when you're doing it, instead of going like this, what you should do, I'm trying to pick small ones here, is go in with your knife and just go round, and that way you get that white pith that's at the top. So that's a better way to do strawberries. Hello, the microwave stopped. I'm now going to do a timer for 2 minutes. Yep. All right, so we're going to do some strawberries on the top because it's Valentine's. I've got some lovely little candy things as well. You know, you could find out what is your partner's favourite chocolates and you could put them on top and just spoil them a little bit. But I'm going to cut these in quarters, and later on, as I show you, I'm going to decorate it. Just simple. We don't want fancy. I don't want to be making marzipan bunnies or, you know, trees or anything like that. I'm sorry, you're getting a bit of candy stuff here and some strawberries, Billy. That's it. I reckon that's enough strawberries. They smell good too. Now, before I start bringing that out, can I mention about the mentoring program? It's happening, yes, 13th of February next week. How fabulous. It's not too late to join. In fact, it's the perfect time to sign up. If you're looking for support and help on your weight loss journey, come on board because I'm your gal. I mean, there's been thousands of success stories and it's been incredible watching people transform, but eating themselves slim because you get real food, you get realistic ways to sustain it and learn how to not only lose that weight, but to keep it off forever. That's what I want you to do. So if you want to check up about the mentoring program, you go to simplytoogood.com.au/membership, alrighty? And that's where you'll find more information. But now's the time to sign up because a challenge goes for 6 weeks. But when you join, you actually get 8 weeks as part of your membership. And then from there, you can decide whether you want to continue or not. So I think after Christmas, New Year, this might be the perfect time. Kids are back at school. Now it's time for you. All right, so let's have a look here. Done. Here we go. So there it is. Look at that. You want to be able to touch it and it's good. Now, I would like to actually sit that for a few minutes. All right, so let's just sit that. I'm going to keep chatting because I want to talk to you about winning this week. All right, so now if you want to win book 2 or more cooking and a lemon chopping board, what do you have to do? Come on, you've got to remember, you like, share, and then in the comments you're going to write #simply2good. Remember, simply with a Y, number 2. Now if you put that in, you know, I will pick 3 fabulous people to come on and get those free gifts, and I'll personally sign your cookbook for you as well. All right, so now next week's show, yes, I'll be here. I hope you will be too, because otherwise what am I doing this for if I've got no one watching but me and Billy? Next week I'm making a classic salad. We're still in salad season. Once again, quick, easy, but fabulous. I'm making the Asian salad. It's out of book 3 and it's also in Cooking for Honor 2. If you've not made this salad, then you're missing out. I remember trying it years ago and I didn't like the normal version. It was very sweet, it was very fatty with oil and that, and so I made my own version and it is the best salad. I have, every time my kids come over where they have barbecue, it's always requested. Asian salad for young and old. So I'm going to show you how to make that next week, which is pretty cool. All right, now I'm going to get my rack, tip it over, boom, peel that paper off, and there we go. Now, do I turn it back over or do I ice that side? I think I leave it on that side. That looks perfect, doesn't it? And as you say, see, you've got the hole in the middle. Billy, can you chuck it in the microwave? Not in the microwave, the freezer. So we're going to come back in a couple of minutes and we're going to make the icing and get that happening. I think that'll probably be a good plan. I've got everything ready and I think just give me 5 minutes. I'll be back in a quick sec. See you then. Welcome back. The cake was in for a short while. It's now cold, ready to ice. So that's my little tip for you if you're really in a hurry with a cake. So now we're going to do the icing and we want 1/2 cup of icing sugar. We also have 2 teaspoons of cocoa. I've got a teaspoon of Flora-Light margarine, which I'm going to add in, and also some skim milk. And it's sort of about 2 teaspoons, but it's really just see how we go with it. to getting the spreadable consistency. There we go. Got my spoon. So put the flora in. I'll put a little bit of the skim milk in to start. Mix it. You can use your electric beater if you want, but I'm just going to use my spoon. I've got my strawberries and my decorations ready to go. Now, the fat count for this particular recipe, the Wicked chocolate cake, and I also have Wicked chocolate shakes because, you know, I just thought that we love that Wicked chocolate thing, is only 2.8 grams of fat for a slice. So it's fantastic. So now I need a little bit more milk here to get it spreadable. There you are. It's only a light amount of icing because this is where we've got to make sure our diabetics are happy as well as our calories. Because this is where people go wrong. A lot of icing can really change things. All right, so here's my cake. Let's get the icing on. I'll just put a little bit around. Definitely make sure you sift your icing. Don't try and get away with not doing that because otherwise you'll get lumps of white powder and that's not going to work real well. I'll just get my scraper, get all of that out. Let me just my hands. Now we're just going to spread that around over the top. Now remember, you can make this in your normal oven if you want, but I think the microwave is just a little bit better, I've got to say. And really, to say that about a microwave cake is a big statement. Did you know that years ago I used to have a regular spot on 2UE with John Stanley? And one day I was there and a lady rang to say that her daughter had entered the Wicked chocolate cake in the Royal Easter Show in the juvenile section and she'd won. I know, she had the sash. I think I've got a picture of it in the cookbooks because I just think it's so fabulous. And it was the first time the little girl had ever made it. It wasn't told that it was a low-fat cake, so that's even more fabulous. Now I'm going to decorate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on either side in there so we get an even distribution of the strawberries. So I'm going to do that, 2 in there. That way every serve is going to get a piece of strawberry. Looks a bit gorgeous already, doesn't it? Now, Billy, if I was going to make this for your birthday, what would you want in the middle? What would you want? Oh, come on, you know what you like. Now, I'm going to just get these little hearts because it's a Valentine's and sprinkle them along. So you just said peanut M&Ms, Billy.
Yeah.
You know, this is just a little decoration thing that's good for Valentine's. There we go. I think we have made something a little bit fabulous today and quick and easy. Now this is the Wicked Chocolate Cake out of book 2 as well as in the More Cooking for 2. Now I have some other chocolate cakes. Yes, I do. I've got chocolate loaf cake in book 1 and I've also got chocolate banana cake, which is fabulous, in book 6. Now the question I said to Bill before we started was, what's the benefit of caster sugar in a cake? So I Google Mr. Google, we love him or she or they, and it said that the caster sugar is good because it's a lighter sugar and it dissolves quicker. That's why I put in the recipe. Glad I knew that. All right, so next week's show, Asian salad. If you want to win, remember, #simply2good.com.au, like, share. I mean, hello people. Who knew weight loss could be so deliciously decadent? I know. Have a fabulous Valentine's. And just remember, if you want any more tips or recipes, go to simply2good.com.au, and don't forget, sign up for the new challenge. It's my, what is it called? After end of summer. I mean, I should remember it. I named it End of Summer Challenge. In the meantime, we've got cake. See you next week. Bye now.